Because this is my agency's look. They love just the natural. This is what they want to see. This is what most people want to see, actually, on my page. But I don't like it that much.
What's your ideal look? Like when you look like this in the morning, you're like, yeah, that's me.
I miss my hair. I used to have like a bit of length. I think adjusting to short hair was the hardest one of the looks I've ever done.
Yeah?
More than bleaching my hair to the end of time.
Wait. Why did you... How long did it grow to?
I've always had long hair, but because of modeling... Do you know all the different things we do with hair? You kind of have to chop and change quite a bit.
Do you have to like sign a disclaimer for that?
So the reason I went blonde was for a big campaign. And they paid me. So I was like, I've always wanted to try it, so I guess this is the right time.
And now it's like your agency is like, yeah, but we like it when it's like more you.
And they'll say it like that. We like the more natural.
More organic.
They'll never say we don't like the blonde. They'll be like, we love the natural. Just like more you.
Yeah, the other look is great. Don't get me wrong. Yes. We're just going to shelf it for now.
My favorite is the weight loss one.
Mm-hmm.
So when they want you to like lose a few centimeters, they'll be like, "Oh my babe, your measurements are perfect. You just need to lose like 1 centimeter on the side."
It's not that much. It's
nothing hectic.
You're good though.
Nothing hectic. Just 1 or 2 centimeters. They really do it in a style.
There goes the hot water with lemons. But ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another episode of the Main Cast podcast with your host Caleb Kalz and my very special guest, Lauren.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for making the time. This is crazy to me. The fact that you're sitting across from me right now is insane. I feel like I want an autograph, I want a selfie all at the same time, so I'm processing. So if I have this weird look on my face, like I don't know what to do or say, just bear with me. I'm just having my fan moment. It's not gonna last very long. But the main point of us having this conversation is so that you can help us to understand what it takes to be as successful as you. See, I'm not a model. Mm-hmm. In a different life, maybe I could have been, but see, my
Definitely.
lack of a right.
Yes.
Okay. See, she would have scouted me in that different life. I'm gonna put that on my biggest accomplishments of the year. But like, I don't understand what it takes. I don't understand how the industry works. But we see models all the time. We see billboards. We see, Fashion Week. Oh, it's a pretty event. All the clothes, all the pretty girls. But there's a whole different world to it. A whole side to it that the average person won't be exposed to unless they have the type of experience that you have. So from your perspective, what are some of the, what are some of the stereotypes that are absolutely false about the fashion industry? For example, when you're a model, life is luxury. You're traveling all the time. You're drinking fancy champagne all the time. You're given free clothes all the time, and you get paid the big bucks, right? So there's that fallacy. And then there's what? There's the whole thing. To be a model, you have to be extremely beautiful and extremely tall and like sleek, and like if you don't have that, it's not gonna work. Is that
what people think though?
I feel like a portion of people will think that you're not a real model unless you look like that. Like, you're just an Insta girl.
Standard everyone puts on the model.
Exactly, you're just an Insta girl. You're not a real model. You know, like you look like a Bond girl. You could like literally feature on the next James Bond. If it's Idris Elba, I think it'd be even better.
I think that would be match made in heaven.
Right? Just think about it. Idris, glass of Hennessy, Lauren walks in with a fucking katana in her hand. Like, woo, you wanted, motherfucker. Okay,
got you now.
I'm gonna buy that ticket ASAP. But like, yeah, so what can you debunk about what some of these young girls who want to enter for Miss SA now thinking it takes, and you're just like,
many questions.
Yeah.
Firstly.
Yeah, it's a lot. I told you, I'm fanning out. Allow me.
Okay, let's start something simpler. So I think experience is your best teacher in this industry. Mm-hmm. I went into it completely blind myself. I was scouted in the mall, just walking around.
Really?
Yeah, in Sandton, and I got scouted, made it to the top 10 for Face of Truards, and we flew down to Cape Town and I had like a whole model workshop. So I think that helped me a lot to see what's happening, see how the industry is. And I think a lot of people don't have that insight into it. And those lessons that you learn, because they taught us quite a few things. And after that, I came back to Joburg and I didn't model for another year and a half because I was not sure either. I didn't know what this industry was.
Yeah.
What is it? And then I don't know what it was, and I was like, I'm giving this a shot. And from there, I started going to castings. I already had an agency. I just had to tell them I'm on board now.
Mm-hmm.
And I started going to castings, but I didn't know anything. So I just went as myself, the best I could, stood up tall, walked in there like I knew what was going on, and kind of winged it. And that is a lot of it. It's confidence.
Wait, before you go on, what do you have to do at these castings? Like, is it like walk?
It's hilarious.
Walk 5 times.
No. It's actually interesting. It's fun. You must become someone so imaginative.
Okay.
So they'll be like, hold the phone and pretend you're taking selfies. You don't even get to hold your phone. They say just pretend to hold the phone so we can see your face.
Okay.
And they're like, so you must just. And then they say, give a little laugh at the end. And you'll be like, So it's a lot of pretending in the casting. Or they'll be like, pretend you're chewing a big bowl of like ramen noodles, and you'll be like doing all these crazy things with nothing and just the camera. So yeah.
That's wild. Okay, it's literally you have to imagine the scene.
So you'll get a little script. There's a little story, and then they'll be like, they want you to do just a little part of it. See if you got what it takes, I guess.
So when
it's awkward. Let me tell you, the most awkward thing, you walk out of there thinking, I did the worst, weirdest stuff. And then they're like, oh no, we loved you.
And they don't even tell you? Like, when you're doing it, they're just like, okay, you're done, next. That's cold.
Sometimes they'll give you some inputs, depends on the casting director. They all have their own personalities, let me tell you. But yeah, they are there to help you. They are there to guide you. Just relax. If you don't know, ask. Breathe. Just be like, I want to do this right. Tell me what to do.
Guide me.
I think, a lot of the times we're scared to ask for help when we don't understand. We want to pretend we know things. And I think that's a lesson to learn very early. Ask.
But it's also a thing. It's also a thing in like, and you can actually tell me if it's a thing or not. Like in the beauty space of things, you don't want to be pretty, but also look stupid. So that fear of asking for help maybe comes from like, I don't want to look like I'm dumb for not knowing how to walk, or else why am I here type thing. But it's like you didn't ask for help, so you didn't get to grow by that extra inch.
And I think that's where we need to open up the door for learning. It's not asking for you, learning as well. And it's up to us personally to realize we're all just learning. We need to help each other, not seeing it as, oh, she's a bit dumb, she doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, like we all got to start somewhere. You're not going to be an expert, like a super professional from the beginning, unless your ego is just delusional. But yeah, no, that's a good point. So yeah, what can you debunk for us? Like, what are the fake expectations?
Ooh, all of them?
All of them out the window.
Forget about it.
That dream you had of being a model because you had a cute face is just like, it's not real.
It is work. I think people forget that this is work. A lot of girls, I was telling you this earlier, they think, okay, I want to model. This is my dream. I want to do it. They go to one casting and they're like, this is not for me. They go to one show, they're like, this is not for me. It is a very tricky thing. You need to understand yourself. You need to be open to it. You need to invite it, and it's a very difficult industry because everyone is so different. You can't be a specific thing to be like, if you're this, you're gonna make it. You're gonna be perfect.
So it's not about being a copy and paste. It's about finding your own unique take on the source.
Yeah, completely. Okay. That's the biggest thing about it. But you do enjoy a lot of beautiful things.
The
You
nice
don't get
little
to,
perks.
The one thing is you don't get to keep the clothes. Everyone's always like, do you keep the clothes?
Wait, do you
No.
never get to keep the clothes? Even if the designer's like your
Okay,
best friend?
There are some designers that'll be like, this is perfect for you, have it. That's happened quite a few times, but it's not the norm.
But it
It's
makes
not
sense
like-
because you're a walking billboard. Like if I give you this
they
dress,
love what it does on you.
yeah,
and
everyone's
it
gonna
sells
ask
that
you
way.
like, who is this? And
Mhm.
this is Caleb Kalz, and then
Exactly,
boom.
exactly.
So it makes sense. Okay,
Hmm.
so there are perks.
Oh, and the
but-
others we were debunking.
Mm.
I forgot the list a little bit.
In a nutshell, it was mostly around like these false expectations. Like you mentioned something earlier, which I wanna touch on now, which was like the hard work. Everyone says work hard, whatever space, work hard. But what does
what
that
is it?
work look like? Do I need to practice my walk every evening? Do I need to like practice my facial expressions? Do I need to know my angles? Like, do I need to show up to the casting knowing all my sizes and all that stuff off of the jump? Like, what kind of work can she do now to prepare for when that opportunity goes knock knock?
Okay. Yeah, I guess preparation is key for all of this.
Mm.
The things I did, like I told you, from a young age, going into Miss South Africa, I've always known I was going to enter. So the work started there. And I know this is quite far and it's quite intricate, but I knew I wanted to be that. So when people ask me, how did you prepare for that? What did you do? What's the hard work you put in? It was me becoming Miss South Africa. So you need to become that person. You need to become that model. You need to emulate those characteristics, those things. So I started sitting up straight. I started walking straight. When I stand with pride. When I speak to people, I speak with respect. Those were all things that resonated with me and becoming Miss South Africa. So it wasn't really like I was practicing to be it or, doing these last minute preps. It was something I was naturally growing into. So even with modeling, understand yourself, understand your body. That's the base of everything for modeling.
Mhm.
Understanding yourself and what place you want to occupy and how you want to expand. So when I knew I wanted to do more fitness things, more swimwear, I started gymming more. Before I did not, because it wasn't the spec I was in, but I did start doing that. I started eating healthier. I understood what worked for me when I went to castings. With Fashion Week specifically, I knew when I wore a skirt, my legs looked better than in a jean. So most girls wear jeans. I wore a skirt because I knew that works for my legs. I knew I like my collarbone showing, so I'd wear a top that would show.
Because you understand yourself.
Yeah, so I understand. My hair, I tie it back so they can see the silhouettes, the structures. So it's a lot of like you yourself really understanding yourself, because I can't tell you to do that same thing.
Because you're not me, so
Yeah.
it might not work the same way. The same way we can go to the gym together, but your workout isn't going to be the same as mine because your body type's different. So,
And you don't have to kill yourself to become something else. You just have to become more of you. And
but
step
does that
into it.
work though? Because you're coming from the place of and correct me if I'm wrong. It sounds like you're coming from a place of constructive self-help advice, not
okay.
necessarily industry
I get
career tips, because it's
you.
like
I get you.
realistically,
Okay.
not
Realistically.
every girl who's being herself is gonna. There's a shallow criteria as well that you need to meet for that personality, for that true self to even get a chance to get exposure. So like if we're looking,
Well, I'm telling you how to get to a place where you want to solidify yourself in the industry.
okay,
If you want to start off, you need to get a good agent. That is the main thing, especially in South Africa. Get a main agent, trust them, they build your portfolio and build a portfolio.
okay,
Understand your face. Like you need to understand, because it's a visual representation. You need to understand this hair works for me. Like I love my hair straight because I like how it shapes my face. My agency loves it like this because clients love it like this. They like that it's,
It's exotic.
but it's not what I like.
yeah.
But I step into that. I make it work.
And that's a good
in
point.
any way possible.
Yeah.
I might not be comfortable with it, but I make it work.
Yeah.
I make it seem like that's how it's supposed to be. And that's not always easy. It's not easy to just,
No,
step
definitely,
back
and that's a good point you mentioned. Just ringing in my head, you said earlier it's not really about you.
and forming this complete picture. So I think a lot of girls do forget that it's not about you. It's not about, oh, I don't think this makeup's pretty on me today. It's, oh my gosh, this is interesting. How do I play with this? How do I, make it work?
Yeah.
It's the funniest, the weirdest looking thing. We've all been there. But it makes for amazing pictures. It opens you up to so much because also your perspective opens up.
Mm-hmm.
You adapt. You learn.
You learn and you grow. Without learning, there's no growth.
Exactly.
So it's not about you. You have to be open to being part of a vision that's bigger than you, because essentially as a model, you're a canvas. You're literally the expression that someone is trying to portray through you. Did that ever make you?
That's a beautiful thing to me.
Okay, great.
I think it's so beautiful. Do you know when projects come together, we all have our individual aspects that we're adding to it, but it all just works and amalgamates so beautifully, and that always fascinated me because I always wondered, how does this work so perfectly? We got this perfect shot at the most random angle, but it's because all of us worked together, brought our talents fully, who we are and what we are. And it just created something
this beautiful
so
collage.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's why most people want to be models. Or even if they don't say it out loud, there's this thought in the back of your head like, I want to be a model. That's why Instagram has all these filters. That's why TikTok has all these filters. So we can all kind of feel the rush of looking at our reflection and being like, I can look like a piece of art as well. Which at its core is what modeling is. It's like using yourself to be the artwork. It's just obviously run by a business. And anytime there's a business in front of anything, there's a admin, there's criteria, there's budgets, there's objectives. And how do you think that affects modeling, which is like a fragile, pure light that now has to coexist with the business, which is very much commercial and it's got an undisclosed intent behind every piece of paper that you have to sign?
Well, I've never really done jobs I didn't feel comfortable with or that I kind of align with. The admin and things like that are part of any industry. That is just a norm in an industry. It's part of life. It's another side of your life that you also need to focus on and grow in. So as much as you love the creative side, they coincide with each other. You can't be one without the other.
That's true. Or else there's no money in it.
Exactly.
Or there's no value to
together.
it. But do you think it doesn't, don't you think it spoils hard work to a certain extent? Because business doesn't always give it to who deserves it. Business gives it to who fits the bill for this quarter. So like, at what point does hard work meet that business ceiling and it's like, That
is the reality of things. A business is always going to go for their best interests, and whether you're the prettiest or the most accomplished, the most beautiful, it doesn't matter if it doesn't align with that business.
Yeah.
So that is a bit of a tricky thing, but at the same time, it's work. It is not just a fun time thing. It is a job. So you need to handle things professionally, and the professionalism is so important in this industry, and I think it gets lost a lot of the time because it seems to be such a like, oh, it's chill, it's just beautiful, it's just pictures, it's fun. No, it's not. It is still a professional business. You do need to show up there and be professional, do your job, you are the best. They chose you for a reason. This company believes in you. They believe in the vision they can create with you. So it's either we work together or why are we bumping heads? If we don't get along, it's not working. Step out.
But you see,
There's
that's why
another girl.
Exactly, there will
There's
always be
another
girl. A younger girl, a prettier girl, a taller girl, so you can't focus on
But that's the first
what's not
thing
in your
modeling.
grasp.
That is the reality of things. They will always be any of those things. So you need to, that's why I always emphasize on yourself, because you are the light you bring. And you can be all those things. You can be professional, you can be the tallest, you can be the prettiest. But if it's just not going to happen for you, unfortunately, it's not.
This time.
But the most important thing is preparation. Prepare for that moment, because you don't know when that moment's coming.
Yeah.
Tomorrow you could get the biggest breakthrough of your life.
Exactly.
But it's because you were just sitting and waiting, and you need to prepare. Just keep preparing.
Stay prepared. Whether or not that moment comes, always be prepared, because when it does come, you don't want to miss out on it.
When it does come, it just naturally will flow through.
Exactly.
And happen.
And
so
that's
the
why
preparation is the most important part. Small things.
Mm-hmm.
Prepare, like eat well in the morning. Do all those things. It's all the small things that add up to
It's a
this.
big thing. Yeah.
Stay present with what's happening. Understand that videography is changing in this direction. Understand what other talents you can bring. Like I told you, I do the voiceovers. I've added so many things to my portfolio. Even though it's not my main thing, it's not something I'm screaming to everyone. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
you're just
yeah.
taking advantage of the talents that you have.
Learning as we go, learning everything. Like even with you, I was fascinated by your little setup. It's pretty cool.
Right, handy.
And yeah, we're just learning.
But this is why we need more people like you. I was gonna say models, but that would be limiting the potential work that people like you can do. And by people like you, I just mean people who have accomplished a certain level, who have racked up a certain amount of experience, who can then pass the baton.
And
but no one is passing the baton.
You're right. And that's what we want to do now. I was telling you earlier.
Ooh, spoiler alert! What are you working on? Tell us.
Yes.
Do tell.
So after Fashion Week, I was inspired to start this model bootcamp.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, a lot of the young girls, they don't have that guidance. They haven't seen it. The industry's changed. There's no help. There's no education in the subject anymore. I think from that 90s model standard and the way things are changing now, it's also difficult to place models anymore. So yes, that was important to me. I was like, I have this knowledge. I can, impart it on someone else. And I really want to do that. So our model bootcamp will be doing that, teaching the young girls, guiding them, styling, helping with all those little things that could add to your growth that you might not notice.
Exactly.
I think when I started, that would have helped me a lot. If there was someone to just guide me a little bit, show me, this is something I see. This is a strength. This is something you should work on a little bit more. Maybe tap into this side, because sometimes you've never even thought of it. And then someone mentions it and you're like, wow, light bulb.
Exactly.
That's brilliant. That's something. And so, yeah.
That's still, it is happening.
No, that's happening very soon.
Okay, so it's past the talking phase.
Yeah, no, it's in the moving phase. We are there.
Got it. Perfect. Pause. I think the chicken's here. Hello?
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Which number are you?
Unit 238.
238.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Honestly, how do Ubers find this place?
They get lost every time.
Can you imagine?
But they always find their way to this door somehow. But like the time from when you got to the gate and the time from when you'll get here, it's quite a stretch. But it is what it is. All in the hopes of making a pretty girl cry, which is probably going to be a failure, but we will see.
Never gonna catch you slipping like
no,
that.
I might slip, which is why I'm nervous. Like, I'm reflecting right now. But back to the main topic. I got 2 questions left, and it's like, again, that passing of the baton really will make or break whatever happens with the future of the industry.
Exactly.
And it's like, we want the people who are running the show to have had experienced being the show. It's like, I have quite a bit of experience in the music industry, and the people who make decisions about what the best music is out there aren't musicians. They're not even artists. They're literally business people who have a criteria. And unfortunately, that's how it works. But if we can just fit more of us in there, into positions where it's like, I actually know what it takes.
I've been through this.
Exactly.
I've seen what is needed. I've seen the gaps. I've seen what we can grow on, because especially in professional modeling, not influencing, none of that, it's become stagnant. It's changed. So it's a big change. So we need to incorporate that as well. So yeah, we have a lot to learn.
A lot to learn and a lot of work to do.
A lot of work.
My final
but
question,
I'm excited.
and I'm excited to see you do this, because hopefully I can help contribute to the wave. You know.
I like that.
My last question is Miss SA. You obviously made it to the upper echelons of what where you can go with Miss SA, and I know a lot of girls who are constantly every year like talking about, okay, I'm gonna get in this year, I'm gonna get in this year, but it's like, what do they look for? And like, this is the last question. If you could just give us, like, when they're sitting behind that desk and they have that piece of paper and they're ticking, what is it that they're actually looking for? Is it personality? Is it how well you speak? Because now you see a lot of girls doing things like taking pictures at charities because it's going to make them look more, sellable or more, I don't know.
So I don't think, well, I don't know what happens behind the scenes really. So I don't know what their set criteria is. But from the amazing women I've interacted with and from what I've seen, all the women in Miss SA are highly qualified. They're intelligent. They've worked hard on themselves specifically. They've given back. Those are naturally things that they were doing, that they do every day, that they've built up. And this is a next step for them.
Yeah.
This is them sharing their vision with the country. This is them opening up themselves for social change, to be the change. So for me, a criteria like that, how do you quantify it really? It's not easy.
Black and white.
So that's where I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but it does come back to yourself.
No, definitely.
Specifically with Miss SA. Your authentic self. And that's what they keep telling us. Be your authentic self. You cannot be anyone else. You need to be yourself. Focus on only that. Focus on even the smallest things. What do I like? What do I not like? Be honest with yourself.
What can I bring to the table that's authentic?
Be honest with yourself. Yeah. So what can I bring? Who am I? What do I want to do?
Yeah.
And go for it. Push it. Go for it. Believe in yourself and keep pushing.
So that's the magic recipe. You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. If you were thinking of entering, watch this clip over and over and over again and learn from the best and see how it can work for you.
And ask for help.
Yeah.
If you don't know, ask. Message me even.
Exactly. Slide in the DM.
Yeah.
She probably won't respond.
No, I do.
Because she's busy on a jet somewhere.
Anytime for the girls. Let me tell you, I've got time.
But the gents had it, gents. This
Sorry,
is not
boys.
for you. This is not for you. But yeah, thank you so much, Lauren.
Well,
this is a golden nugget, and I think we did a good thing here.
Yeah, no, I'm glad we did this.
And I hope it won't be the last time, because we didn't even get to touch on a portion.
We have a lot to talk about.
We have so much. Definitely not. So thank you so much, the Main Cast Podcast, and it's a wrap.